So thinking then about how to motivate our question that we've got about whether our intuitions are reliable or can be trusted, I'm going to refer you to this quote here from Jeff McMahon. So the central question is, of course, what reason is there to suppose that moral intuitions, even those that are widespread and robust, are reliable guides for the formulation or discovery of principles that in turn provide reliable foundations for particular moral judgments? So, in other words, what McMahon is saying here is, what reason do we have to suggest that our intuitions, even those that are widely shared, are going to be things that we can rely on? And, excuse me, to try and strengthen this kind of provocative challenge here a little bit further, we can compare the role that intuitions play in philosophy against the role that intuitions play in other subjects. So think about what I've just described about how intuitions play this really prominent role, at least in ethics, and thinking about how they're going to be challenging our ethical theories, at least to a point. We want to make sure that our ethical theories um, cohere with our moral intuitions. And then think about the role that intuitions play in other subjects. So, for example, physics or medicine. It seems like if somebody were to say to a physicist that they should reject their theory of how the universe works because it's counterintuitive, that seems like something that would be ridiculous to the point of being laughable. It doesn't seem like if somebody says, I have a really strong intuition that taking this drug will do harm to me when the doctor has studies that suggest that it will cure their disease. It doesn't seem like we should go for we should trust that intuition very much at all. So um, here's the challenge then. It seems like if in other disciplines intuitions are not very useful in the light of theory, it seems like philosophy's focus on intuitions requires some justification. We need to have some positive argument as to why intuitions can be used in this way that philosophers tend to use them. And so this argumentative move, if we accept this analogy, is trying to put the defender of intuitions on the back foot. So what I mean by that is normally within philosophical circles, it's assumed that intuitions are going to be things that are reliable or at least worth paying attention to when thinking about ethics. But if we accept this analogy, then it seems to disrupt that assumption. Instead, if we look broader and think about inquiry in general, intuitions don't seem to be very reliable or at least worth putting much weight on. And so why is it that we do so in philosophy? So that question is that we've just proposed is going to be one thing that we're going to try and consider throughout the whole course of these lectures. To kind of slightly pivot here now, we're going to think about where intuition has fit into the history of philosophy. And one view that we're going to be talking about here is called intuitionism. And the way that I have defined that is the view that intuitions have some epistemic authority. So in terms of the knowledge that we can get, intuitions are going to be things that can give us knowledge or justify belief. And one of the things that comes up here in this in responding to this scientific analogy that we've considered is that we might be kind of comparing apples and oranges here. It doesn't seem like we are really talking about the same kind of thing if we're talking about scientific questions versus philosophical questions or indeed ethical questions.